specialized treatments that were done that showed that they had some advantages, but actually the advantages of MBT and DBT over treatment as usual in this literature is less robust than in adults. And it's probably because teens are more adaptive and it's early intervention. So what we see in this literature is that when DBT is compared to something called enhanced usual care, at first the self-harm decreases faster. But over 3 years' time, the outcomes for the two groups is about the same. So it's a more tumultuous course, not getting DBT, but at the end of that period, what the hopeful news is that these patients can get better if they're understood as patients with BPD. So we know that a lot of these specialized treatments that have been built for BPD in adolescents are about similar or comparable to usual treatment. So I think that this shows us that teens need less intensive, shorter treatments to get better. So through evaluation of the literature, we know that early intervention is feasible and effective. It doesn't matter how specialized. Specialized and generalist approaches work. And we also know that at baseline, we should do something like GPM, just good management for the treatment of BPD, because it's unclear how that kind of extra investment in DBT or MBT works. It probably is best for those who have very serious self-harm, because that's what it's proven to work best for. And we also know that brief, structured, well-specified, that means like a kind of manualized or protocolized approach, works, and it can produce substantial changes. Now that we know a lot of things do work, we have to understand why they work. And I think that there's actually some common factors here amongst these different approaches that are more important than the specific factors. So there are some principles across psychotherapies that are common. And this is from an article written by Marvin Goldfried. And he was actually a teacher of Marsha Linehan. And when I wrote a paper called Debranding Treatments for Borderline Personality Disorder, he called me and he said, this is really great news. People get so specialized and so kind of obsessed with the details, but that's actually not the important part in treatment. The important parts are these, that you want to promote the patient's expectation and hope that therapy can help by speaking to something that resonates for them. They have to see their problem in the treatment that you have to offer them. And then the treatment has to be modeled around trying to maintain an optimal therapeutic alliance. That's why paying attention to BPD, because of its interpersonal instabilities, is really important. It steadies you in that relationship. You also have to facilitate the client's awareness of the factors associated with their difficulties. All patients need to know what their symptoms are, to know how much better or worse they're doing. And you want to encourage the patient to engage in corrective life experiences. If you've had BPD and you feel like you mess everything up because of your disorder, helping them to do it differently and see that the outcome can be different is corrective. It actually starts to repair their wounds and their scars from having had so many failed experiences. And you also at the same time want to help them be realistic. GPM is above all things reality-based, and much of psychotherapy helps people cope with reality. You know the meme these days that's like expectation versus reality? I think psychotherapy is simply something that helps people